In this week's Parsha, which is Parshas Va'era, Hashem instructs Moshe Rabbeinu to go to Paro and tell him that he's going to bring another Makkah, another plague, and this plague is going to be a hailstorm that the land of Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt, has never experienced anything like it before. And when we look in the Torah, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was actually instructed to warn the Mitzrayim, to warn the Egyptians, not to leave any of their slaves or any of their property outside. Anything that would be left outside would be destroyed, and anything that would be brought in to shelter would be saved, protected from this hailstorm which was going to demolish Egypt. And when things actually happened, there's something which stands out. It's very interesting. The Torah says, Hayare es devar Hashem me'avdei paro, heinis es avadav ve'es miknehu, el habatim. Those Egyptians, the Mitzrayim, who feared the word of Hashem, they protected their property from the hailstorm and they brought it into sheltered area and it survived. Vashir lo sam libo al devar Hashem, v'yazov es avadav ve'es miknehu, basade, in the field, the one who did not pay attention to the word of Hashem, he left the stuff outside and it was completely destroyed. This was the response of the Mitzrayim, of the Egyptian people. Some of them took the word of Hashem to heart and acted upon it, and others were not affected. They did not listen, they did not care, and they basically ignored the very dangerous possibility. So the Stipler asks a very grounded, level-headed question on these psukim. The Makkah, the plague of Barad, was the 7th Makkah that the Egyptian people had suffered. Each Makkah, by the way, was given a unit of a month's time. 3 weeks out of the month, Moshe Rabbeinu was warning the Egyptian public about the plague that was about to befall them. The 4th week of the month, they were actually suffering from that plague. This had happened now for 6 months. So the Stipler asks, how could it be that there would be an Egyptian that would not take Moshe Rabbeinu seriously at this point? They saw that this was the real deal, and that he was serious, and that everything that he had said up until this point, that he said was going to happen, had happened. How could you have people that would ignore this? How could you have people that would deny what was going on? So the Stipler answers, and he says something which is very insightful. He says let's call it the concept of kafira, the idea of being in denial. It is not rooted in one's knowledge. The Mitzrayim were tremendously aware of what was going on. They had 3 weeks to become prepared. They were knowledgeable people about the situation, yet they still denied it. They were still able to deny it. The Stipler says because it's not rooted in knowledge. It's rooted in one's ratzon. It's rooted in where one's will and what he wants. If a person wants it to be true, he'll act a certain way. But no matter what the facts are, a person has the ability to deny them. Just by the way, I believe that this whole, let's call it Perek in history, this whole time in history, was where they coined the phrase, denial ain't no river in Egypt. I was expecting much more laughter than that, but okay. So why does it work like this? This is actually one of the called wonders of Hashem. B'derech she'adam rotze lelech molichin oso. The way that a person wants to go, Hashem lets you go that way. He makes it possible. Haba litame poschim lo. Even if somebody is heading in a bad direction, he's going in a way of Tuma, in the direction of Tuma, if that's what the person wants and he's not going to let anything stand in his way, Hashem will acquiesce and he won't get in his way. Lahefech, just the opposite. Haba litaher Messiah. Somebody who comes and wants to actually improve himself and make an advancement, a step in the right direction, spiritually speaking, Hashem is there to help and will help us. And this, I believe, is a tremendous fundamental for all of us to internalize, that ultimately what is true regardless of what we think of it. It's how we respond to it. That is what is in our hearts. That is what is our ratzon. All we have to do is make that first step. The taher Messiah. We just have to make that first step. Hashem, from there on, will hold our hand, so to speak, and allow us and make it easier for us to advance.